in a campaign that says enough's enough. We've been betrayed by too many politicians, betrayed by too many court proceedings, to really want to put all of our energy into this system. Recently, we handed Tom Dart, the sheriff of Cook County, an eviction notice. It was a 6-foot-tall eviction notice that says, if you don't put a moratorium on all economically based foreclosures, we are going to come back in 5 days and evict you from your office. On the 5th day, he did pass a moratorium on foreclosures for 3 banks. It's far from what we wanted in its entirety, but we are seeing the fruits of action. And so, yes, I do respect the court process and all that type of stuff, but we've been betrayed by that plenty of times.
Okay, now I know Tom James, thank you for being here, by the way. The Office of Lisa Madigan did send out 23 demand letters last month. Could you talk about that, please?
Sure. First, I just wanted to address the fact people receiving solicitations, people who are in trouble, receiving trouble with their mortgage, receiving solicitations from individuals. We supported a law. In fact, we drafted a law which passed in 2007, which makes it illegal for anyone to collect an upfront fee for negotiating your mortgage if they're not a certified counselor. So, as it was said before, in many cases that is free or a very minimum amount of money. So I think it's important to realize that if you receive a solicitation, you should report it to the Attorney General's office because that activity is illegal.
Okay, so for example, Jorge could report this, what happened to him?
He absolutely should. He should file a complaint with us. And reaching our office is fairly easy. You can go on to a search engine, Google or Yahoo or your choice, and just type in Illinois Attorney General. And our site will come up and click through, and there are consumer complaint forms, and you can get a hold of, download a complaint form and let us know, because we want to put those people out of business.
Okay, thank you for that.
Those are non-attorneys.
I definitely would highly recommend people to go to...
Those are non-attorneys.
Those are non-attorneys.
That doesn't apply to attorneys.
There's a lot of scam artists out there, people, so be very, very careful. I definitely recommend people going to places like NHS. They're HUD certified, and it's definitely the way to go if you cannot afford to get a certified attorney. We're going to take a phone call right now. First and foremost, we'll take Matisse, I believe it is. Matisse, are you on the line? Okay, Matisse, we lost Matisse. Let's take Ernestine. Ernestine, are you on the line?
Yes, I would just like to ask a question and make a comment. I would just like to ask, every time when we go to try to get help, when we lose our jobs because we can't no longer pay the note on the house, why do people ask for more and more and more and more and more and more money? If I can't pay my house note, what makes you think I can pay an attorney? What makes you think I can pay other people? That's the purpose why I'm trying to get help, so I won't get farther behind and be on the street. Secondly, I had a niece that owned a building. She had just bought the building, and they had someone to come out, board it up, lock it up, and she had tenants in there, only to find out they boarded up the wrong house that was in foreclosure. I would like to know, can I put a suit in on the city from coming out there, boarding up my building while I still had tenants, and they claimed that it was a mistake, it was the house next to it that needed to be boarded up for foreclosure. What can we do to solve some of these issues? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Ernestine. That was an excellent call-in. Real quick, I really don't think any of us can talk about suing the city. I don't think we know what's going on as far as that's concerned. But you make a good point. A lot of people have lost their jobs. They want to stay in their homes. They've been paying all this time up until they lost their jobs. You know, that's the reality of the situation when you're dealing with a recession. What can we do for those people? I mean, it makes sense that, like, you know, they've lost their jobs, you know, and they're struggling to pay, but they definitely deserve to live in their homes.
Well, my experience has been that if you can't pay your mortgage, you put the judge in a very difficult situation. I mean, a judge will sometimes suggest that you try to work it out, give this person, defer the payments. But a judge has to be impartial, and certainly if you're in foreclosure court and you say, Your Honor, I have no job and I can't pay my mortgage, the lender is insisting on a judgment being entered and a sale being conducted. I don't know that the judge has that type of power. I think the legislature has to do something to intercede here. I mean, there are a lot of things that need to be done, but I don't know that a judge has the power to say you don't need to pay your mortgage for the next year. You know, you're given, the foreclosure process takes about 9 to 10 months before you will be evicted if you don't do anything at all from the time that you receive your summons and complaint. If you do nothing, you've got 3 months to reinstate. You're talking about your primary residential. You got 3 months to reinstate your loan. You've got another 6-7 months redemption period before a sale can be conducted. After the sale has been conducted, they have to go into court, get the sale approved by the judge, and then the judge will at least give you another 30 days to stay on the property. So you've got 9 to 10 months if you do absolutely nothing. So after that period of time, it's going to be very difficult to get a judge to allow you to stay even longer.
Okay, so if you can't find a job in those 9 to 10 months, you're out of luck.
What can you do? It's out of the judge's hands, I think. Okay. The legislature has to do something to...
I agree. I think the legislature...
I think you can do something. At the Chicago Anti-Eviction campaign, we believe housing is a human right. We believe everybody has a right to stay in their home. And so what we organize and stage is sit-ins. And we have eviction blockades. Because we've seen the effect of embarrassing the bank, what they will do. I mean, they've caved. I mean, newspaper articles, you know, media attention is not negative. Newspaper articles, negative media attention is not what the bank wants. So what we do is we basically get everybody in the neighborhood, go and get in front of a sheriff and say, we're not leaving. You'll have to carry us out. And so rather than waiting through this, waiting for this huge bureaucratic machine to take action, we just take action every day, and we've seen it work. So there is things you can do. And one more thing is, when there is a foreclosure and when there is eviction, people think, well, as long as I'm paying my bills on time, you know, I'm okay. You know, it's not affecting me. But a foreclosure basically affects the values of every single person within a 2 square mile radius of that home. So everybody's home values go down when someone gets foreclosed on. And so this is everybody's problem, you know, whether you're facing foreclosure or not. So everybody needs to rally behind the people who are being evicted from their homes.
Okay. Now, real quick, NHS, what would you be able to tell someone like Ernestine who calls and has that same problem?
Well, a couple of challenges that she has. First of all, if I'm not sure if it's the city that boarded up the home or the lender that came out to board up the home. If the lender came out and boarded up the wrong home, and there are cases that you will hear of where that's the situation, there has been so much of an increase in this area that you've heard recently the issue of robo-signers, of the banks that have just had people certifying that they've reviewed all the documentation, and Bank of America, Chase, and others have put their foreclosures on hold as a result of that. So if a bank came out and boarded up the wrong home, I'd asked our attorney for help there. I think she does have a case there against the bank.
Absolutely. And I, you know, in my scenario I just gave, that's if you do nothing. Certainly, if you do something, if you take some, you know, steps and you're proactive, you may I have people who've been in their home for 2 years and have not been evicted. But my point was that I wanted to say to people, if you do absolutely nothing, you have 9 to 10 months. If you fight it, if you have affirmative defenses, if